リーゼ・ド・クロレンス。私は生きていく。これからもずっとずっとこの世界で医者として愛する人たちを悲劇の運命から守るために。
That's it, my friends. That's all she wrote. Dr. Elise is complete. Episode number 12, Dr. Elise, the royal lady with the lamp. And thinking back to that, actually, for a second, the royal lady with the lamp, like, such an unnecessary name. Like, the royal lady with the lamp. Like, the lamp is referring to the time that she spent when the war was happening, and she was using her lamp to light her way to go and visit the soldiers and stuff. But that's such a small snippet of the show. I actually just realized that right now. Like, I never really gave it too much concern, but I'm just thinking right now as I was saying the names, like, that's such a small snippet of the story. Like, why focus on that? They could have said, like, you know, I'm not a name person, but they, you know, they could have said, you know, the royal lady's second chance, or anything else. I don't know. They just kind of stuck with that one there. Anyways, I love this show. Like, this is one of my favorite shows in recent memory, and it's definitely up there for me. As I've stated numerous times before, you know, thank you so much for sticking with me all season long. I understand that this show isn't for everybody, but I'm assuming if you made it all 12 episodes in, or maybe you just like me, and if that's it, yo, what's up? How you doing? Yo, thank you for being here on the channel. But if you made it this far, I have to assume that you like the show, right? Because even I, at the behest of others, I even drop shows all the time, even on this channel. I'm like, yeah, I just can't do it anymore. But this one I thought was really, really great. And I was very interested to see where they were going to end this season and the show too. And although I know for a fact there's a lot more to give for the show, there's a lot more to cover, I think what they did here was very smart and genuine, right? They built up that last moment of the king kind of falling ill and Elise needing to come in and you know, be in action and have her moment to save the king, and the tumultuous urge, or like the what will happen moment, right? That tension that was built was, is the king gonna die on the operating table, or is she going to be able to solve it? And this episode built it up really, really well too, because she was like, okay, he has a pulmonary embolism, which basically means like you have something clogged, you know, within like your heart area. And they're like, oh, well, it could be an artery that's attached to the lung. And she goes in and she doesn't find it. But she's like, I can't. She's like, if I don't find it right now, she has the king on the operating table, right? I thought this was so cool. She has him there, and you know, the option is stitch him back up, and he's gonna die anyways, or let me just continue poking around a little bit more. And sure enough, she finds it. And on top of that, she also, while poking around, found a lymph node as well too, that another like little blockage, another little growth that he had. So she was able to go and get that out as well too, and boom, King's on his way to recovery. Boom, she was able to find kind of like one of the main culprits, right? He still has diabetes, right? He still has that, but she was able to find one of the things that were like accentuating his sickness. So really, really cool stuff. You know, she does it, you know, she did all of this with the permission of the prince. Obviously, the prince name's going to be completely like taken off the table for poisoning and everything else, because, you know, this was the sickness of the king. It was just a timing thing that happened. And, you know, she got the permission of the prince, and obviously, you know, Prince was so thankful. And that leads me into another moment of like, over and over, this show has really just been able to, for me, built up those emotional moments. And when Elise and the prince were spending time in the cart, right? Because the prince went and he's like, yo, I'm gonna go and escort you, because she goes to do her test right after she performs the surgery. She goes and performs her test, and then the prince goes and he's like, I'm going to escort you there. So Lyndon and Elise are in the cart, and he's thanking her as a man, he's thanking her as a prince, and he's thanking her as a son. And it was just such a a moment that I thought was captured so well by the show. And you could tell, I mean, there's a lot of emotion that goes into that, but that was something to where this person who has tyrant tendencies, right? Who is so, her past life's experience with him was just so different. And, you know, he became a different person than who he is now. That him being so vulnerable in front of her, you know, A, speaks volumes in a lot of different ways for the relationship is, but that B kind of speaks volumes for his growth as just a person because of Elise. I just thought it was really powerful. And then after that, after she goes and drops him off, he has a realization. He was like, he tells her like, oh, come with me, after this, after you pass your test, I'll take you to, get strawberry stuff. And she was like, yo, are you Ron? And I'm not happy that didn't come to a close, but she puts two and two together. She's like, oh, I know their family has the ability to change, has an an item or whatever to change their looks. And she's like, okay, enough's enough. I think Elise has caught on. Now she just needs to have that moment that she calls him out. He's like, I am Ron, right? She just needs to have that moment, which I think would come. After that, she's praised across the medical world, and, she aces her test, which I thought was really awesome to see. She provides solutions to problems that have been gnawing at a lot of these doctors for several years. I like how they used her as a test subject to be like, oh, well, let's just put these questions so we can see what people think. But really, we want to see how Elise is going to answer this, because like she's going to lead us to like the new future of medicine here. And she does. She nails it. She gets a 98 out of 100. She loses 2 points because she couldn't solve like a cold and pneumonia or something. But it wasn't because she couldn't solve it. It's because her writing was so horrifically illegible that they just like, I don't even know what she wrote. We're going to assume she's right, but we don't know what she wrote, so we have to dock her somewhere. So even with that, she ends up getting the best score in all of these medicine test history. And like, it was just awesome to see. And I really, really enjoyed it. After that, that's kind of where things come to a close. She has her moment with the king, which I thought was really sweet. He was basically going to concede to her like, hey, like, I get it, she's like, no, let me prove myself more. Our contest is still going, which is, it's like, let it die at least. He was about to admit, you saved bro's life. And she was like, oh, I need to show, I forget what the words that she used, but she was like, I need to really prove that I can be more valuable. And that's where my one nitpick of the episode comes in a little bit, is she's like, I need to prove my value to the kingdom as opposed to the empress. It's like, I think we can probably all agree that saving the king, performing an dissection or, removal of lymphoma, and, solving a pulmonary embolism of the king, the most important person on this side of the map, I think that probably constitutes as showing the most, like, how do you show any more value than this? Sure, you can save some more lives, but you saved the king's life like 3 times already. Like, I don't know if there's anything else that she could do that's more important than that. Than, I don't know, solving world hunger or something. But like, anyways, that's my one nitpick is like, it's like, but you said you need to do it, but you just did. Like, this man's sitting here because you just did that. But that's my only nitpick. Otherwise, episode, like, to me, 10 out of 10. I loved it. Also, obviously last week we talked shit about, the twist at the end, or the tension that they were trying to build with, will Elise get struck by a sword? No. Michael came like I thought, and he saved her, and he was, being nosy and stuff like that. So anyways, 12 episodes, Doctor Elise, chef's kiss. I don't know. Is this one getting a dub? Let me double check. Yeah, no dub yet. I hope this one gets a dub. I would love for more people to watch this one. So I hope it gets announced for a dubbed. Crunchyroll needs to do their thing. Ever since Funimation left, I felt like the amount of dubbed anime has pretty much gone. I don't want to talk shit completely. It's gone up in some respects, and it's gone down in other respects. Anyways, that's another video. I hope that this one gets a dub, though. And if it does, please support it. Please watch it, as I will. I don't use Crunchyroll. I use other means, but I do pay for Crunchyroll. I do pay for High Dive just because I want to, you know, I got to support the platforms that supply the things that I love, which is anime. So anyways, thank you guys for being here all season long. I'll see you in the spring. Check out my spring videos coming up on screen now, maybe, but check them out. Peace out, my friends.